Hello, I'm Reverend Marilyn Francine Williams, and I'm here with my dad, Reverend Jayo Williams Sr. Hello, disciples. For as long as I can remember, I've been a member of the Disciples of Christ, the Christian church in North Carolina. Now, if I've been a part of it that long, I'm sure I know my dad, has been a part of it longer than I have. And that's why we're here today. My dad wrote a book, and the title of the book is Know Us, Our Story Shall Be Continued. And I'm very proud of that. He received the Liberation Award from the National Convocation for this book that he wrote. And so we have been asked to share with you some of the history. And because my dad is a history buff, there's a lot that he can share with us. So why don't you tell us a little bit about why you wrote the book?
I'd be happy to. I wrote the book because, first of all, Dr. William Barber Sr. Wrote a book, Disciple Assemblies in Eastern North Carolina. And I read the book and been inspired by what Dr. Barber wrote. And I've lived all that time since his writing of the book. As a matter of fact, I am the oldest living minister that was ordained by the Goldsboro-Raleigh Assembly. I was ordained back in 1943, September 1943, and I've lived that time since then. And I thought somebody needs to record this, because if the church is going to continue, and it will, the church is going to continue, somebody needs to know us and know how we are a part of or affiliated with the Christian Church, Disciples of Christ, in North Carolina, being a part of the Christian Church in the United States and Canada. I'm proud of the history that we have lived and the progress that we have made, the congregation that we have established, and I thought somebody needed to put that in writing.
Well, that's funny that you should say that, Dad, is because I was baptized at Quaker House, Church of Christ, Disciples of Christ. But because of you, I became affiliated with the Christian church, Disciples of Christ. And so people like, isn't that the same thing? But that's what this book is all about, and that's why it's so special. And my dad is the one that can tell us. I know a lot of churches in North Carolina, Christian churches, Churches of Christ, Disciples of Christ. But my dad has lived it more than me. And so that's what this interview is all about. So we are now, this is our beginning for you. And I believe that you will be blessed with the history that you're about to hear and the history that's going to be shared by my dad. And so this is our first segment. And now I understand too that the computer is now going, the laptop is back up, and there's going to be a second edition of this particular book that you read.
Yeah, and since you mentioned that, this book was really published a little earlier than I had hoped it would be. I was putting together a manuscript for this book when I received a call from the National Convocation of the Christian Church that if my book was ready for print, they would assist me in getting it printed so that it could be circulated at that coming assembly. I think that was at Convocation in 2010. So there are a lot of things that I would love to have had in the book, and there are a lot of errors, not errors, but typos. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of typos in the book that I would have changed had I had a chance to proof it.
So who actually published this for you?
It was actually published by the National Convocation and the Historical Society.
Okay.
They actually put it together at the last minute to say, if you can get me the manuscript in the next few days, we'll get it printed for you. So thus we have a book that I'm proud of, but yet is incomplete as far as the history of the black disciples in North Carolina is concerned.
Okay. So this book is going to explain to us, this book explains to us about black disciples, but our new copy is going to fix those typos, and it's going to add some more history.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. All right. Well, we look forward to that, and we thank you so very much. Dad, thank you for inviting me into you and Mama Ida's home. Of course, it's my home too, but it's just an opportunity to interview what some call the beloved disciple of North Carolina. And I'd like to say, in all of my travels, he's really a beloved disciple within the universal church, the Christian church, Disciples of Christ in the United States and Canada. So we look forward to coming back to you in the next segment so we can delve into all that this book has to bring us. I love history, so I hope you do too. Thank you so very much, and thank you, Dad.
Sure thing.